Welcome to Storytime, where every tale is a doorway to serenity. Today, we explore the gentle wisdom of how to sleep fast by Nattawuit Yimniam, a guide not just to sleep, but to surrender.
Welcome to the deep dive. We take fascinating sources, pull out the key insights, and basically give you a shortcut to being really well informed. Today, we're jumping into something pretty much everyone deals with: sleep. Or maybe the lack of it sometimes. We're digging into excerpts from The Art of Swift Slumber, a gentle guide to restful sleep, which itself was inspired by Nattawuit Yimniam's How to Sleep Fast. So, our mission here is to find those crucial bits of wisdom, maybe some surprising facts, some practical stuff that you can use to invite better sleep. Think of it as your personalized guide to what really matters in these writings, because we all know that feeling, right? Mind racing, chasing sleep. It can feel like you just can't win. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's really striking about this material, I think, is the angle it takes. It talks about sleep in this almost mystical way, not just medical, which is quite different. The author's big takeaway from their own experience is that sleep isn't something you hunt down. It's something you surrender to. Exactly. And that simple shift, just changing how you frame it, can be incredibly powerful. It moves it from a fight to, well, an acceptance.
That does feel like a big challenge to how most of us think about it. You know, the sources dive into Yimniam's own story. Years of struggle, 3 a.m. is his companion, anxiety. Sounds familiar to many, I bet. And his breakthrough was that realization. Sleep isn't something to hunt, it's something to surrender to, which led to this affirmation: I don't need to sleep, I allow myself to rest. But okay, how does that actually work when you're lying there, eyes wide open, desperately wanting sleep? How do you just let go?
Right, that's the tricky part, isn't it? It's a bit of a paradox. Because the harder you try to sleep, the more you activate your alert systems. The source really hits on this.
Okay.
That achieve mindset, it basically signals stay awake. So this shift, if we kind of connect this to the bigger picture, our whole culture around control versus relaxation, it's vital. It counters that pressure.
Yeah.
By dropping the demand, you give your body space to actually listen to its own natural sleep signals instead of overriding them with effort.
Release precedes rest. That phrase from the text really sticks.
Exactly. It's about allowing, not forcing.
Okay, so allowing, letting the body listen to its signals. Which leads nicely into the next part, about creating the right signals through our environment. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. The idea that your room is more than 4 walls. It's the cradle of your dreams. It gets quite specific about how to sort of biohack our instincts for sleep. Things like dimming lights way down, mimicking twilight, getting proper blackout curtains to block all the light, even moonlight.
Right, tricking that ancient part of the brain.
Yeah. And then scents like lavender essential oils for calming the nervous system, using white noise or nature sounds to mask distracting city sounds. And one I found quite insightful: decluttering. Even clutter can cloud the mind, so clear it as you'd clear your thoughts.
And all these tweaks, they're sending very direct physiological messages. Dim lights help melatonin production, your sleep hormone. Calming sounds, smells. They actively downshift your nervous system from alert mode.
So it's not just about comfort, it's actual signaling.
Precisely. It makes you think about how your physical space isn't just passive. It's actively influencing your mental state, telling your deeper self, hey, it's safe now. You can rest.
Telling your deeper self. I like that. Okay, speaking of methods, the sources bring up something really intriguing. This technique reportedly used by soldiers in combat zones.
Oh, yeah, the military method.
Right. You can imagine needing sleep fast in that situation. The description is very methodical, very calm. First, close your eyes, consciously release tension. Face, jaw, neck, shoulders. Let all go limp. Arms, legs too.
Systematic relaxation.
Exactly. Then visualize something peaceful, like you're floating on a calm lake under the stars or maybe drifting in space, just pure peace. And the final step, you repeat silently, don't think, for about 10 seconds until your thoughts just fade.
What's fascinating here is how something so seemingly simple works, especially under high stress. It's like it hits a reset button on the nervous system, whispering, lullabies to the subconscious, as the text poetically puts it.
Yeah.
And its power isn't just for extreme situations. It shows how effective structured mental and physical release can be for everyday restlessness. You don't need fancy gadgets, just this focused intention.
It really is remarkable. And that focus on the body and mind connection continues with other practices mentioned, like specific breath work. They highlight one pattern. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, Exhale for 8.
Before 7, 8 breath. Very calming.
Yeah, seems simple, but apparently that ratio really helps recalibrate your body's rhythm. And they pair it with progressive muscle relaxation, deliberately tensing muscles, say, in your feet, then fully releasing, working your way up your whole body, toes to forehead, preparing every cell for sleep is how they described it. Plus, adding those ambient nature sounds, again, rain, wind, waves as a backdrop.
And this combination, the breath and the physical release, it raises an important point, doesn't it? About how these really intentional body practices can have such a profound impact on quieting the mind.
How so, exactly?
Well, the controlled breathing, the systematic tensing and releasing, it actively signals safety to your nervous system. It helps short-circuit that fight-or-flight response that often keeps our minds racing. You're creating a feedback loop, consciously telling your body, starting with the breath, okay, time to let go.
It makes sense. Moving beyond techniques right before bed, the sources really stress something else, our daytime habits. It's easy to forget, but the day sets the stage for the night. What we do all day matters.
Absolutely critical.
So Yimniam's recommendations include some familiar ones, but maybe with extra emphasis, like no caffeine afternoon. Seems obvious, but how many of us stick to it?
Guilty. Sometimes.
Yeah. Daily exercise is encouraged, but crucially, not within about 3 hours of bedtime.
Right, avoids getting too revved up.
And skipping heavy meals late at night. Plus, an interesting one, keeping a sleep journal. Not just hours slept, but noting potential emotional triggers.
Connecting mood and rest.
It really highlights how interconnected it all is.
It really does. It reinforces that idea that sleep isn't this isolated thing you just switch on at night. Sleep is cumulative, as the text says. It listens to the choices you make in daylight. Every decision, coffee, exercise timing, food, stress management, it all feeds into your sleep quality later.
A holistic view.
Exactly. It encourages you to see well-being as this continuous cycle, not just hoping for the best when your head hits the pillow.
Okay, and finally, the sources touch on cultivating inner calm, the mental preparation side, using gentle affirmations like, I am safe, I am calm, I am ready to rest.
And the advice on how to say them is lovely. Speak to yourself as you would to a child you love. That implies such kindness.
Self-compassion, yeah, which is often missing when we're frustrated about not sleeping. Totally. Other ideas include reading something serene, not thrillers, or listening to a calm podcast. Maybe like this one, who knows?
Hopefully.
And just allowing the mind to wander gently through those forests of thought until it finds quiet. Not fighting the thoughts, but not getting snagged by them either.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, think about the constant information overload we face. This intentional mental conditioning, this self-compassion, it becomes so important. It's about consciously creating a peaceful internal space before you even try to sleep.
Disengaging from the noise.
Right. Actively nurturing a calm inner dialogue. It's really an act of self-care that prepares the mind for proper, deep rest.
So wrapping this deep dive up, the big message coming through feels very gentle. Tonight, the advice seems to be, don't chase sleep. Don't hunt it down. Invite it in. Gently, as a swan gliding across a still lake. Aiming to rest, not just in body, but in spirit. And remember, knowledge is great, but it's most useful when you actually apply it. Just think about trying even one or two things we've discussed. Maybe it's that surrender mindset. Maybe it's trying the military method. Maybe it's just getting blackout curtains. Any one of those could potentially start to shift your relationship with rest, maybe unlock a deeper sense of peace than you thought possible.
Definitely food for thought. Which leads us to our final question for you to ponder. So what does this all mean? How might truly surrendering to rest, really letting go of the striving, unlock a deeper sense of peace, not just in your nights, but maybe in your whole life?
Thank you for joining Storytime. May tonight's story be your lullaby, and may sleep find you like a swan gliding into moonlight. Until next time, rest well, dream deep,